Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 1 of LGD versus IG. It's a classic matchup with some new faces on both teams. Crucial match here in Starladder Season 12. The winner of the series, they don't have to play Vici Gaming, who have made their way into the lower bracket finals. Instead, they go directly to the LAN finals of Starladder Season 12, where they will compete for $110,000 and rising in prize money in Bucharest at DreamHack. So it should be a lot of fun. One of these teams will definitely go. The loser will have a shot at redemption. Of course, this is a best-of-3 showdown here. IG will come into this match as pretty heavy favorites. Let's see, what are the odds right now? 73 to 27% and in favor of IG. I think warranted, maybe a bit on the high end, but of course, I'm not alone. I'm LD. I am joined here by the one and only Zyori. How you doing, Andrew?
Oh, I'm doing fabulous. Getting used to this Chinese sleep schedule here, back from Malaysia. And, well, I'm on the coffee train, LD, so I'm feeling pretty good. IG, the winners, the major all-stars, they should be feeling pretty good themselves. They're but one best of 3, making it away to qualifying for Starladder Season 12. So this is pretty exciting, though both these teams will have another chance. The loser here will still be able to fight their way through the loser finals coming up tomorrow. So there is actually a chance that we could see these two teams actually in the LAN finals of Starladder itself.
Yeah, it is possible for both to qualify. I would say Vici Gaming look a little bit stronger right now than LGD, but that said, they did get knocked down to the lower bracket by LGD 2-1, so I suppose they are capable of taking a best of 3 off of them once. No reason they can't do it again. So our draft's underway now. The bans are interesting here. We're going to see a Queen of Pain and Storm both banned by LGD in Phase 1.
Some respect there.
Yeah, that is some respect for 430. We'll normally see one of these heroes banned, I'd say, in most of the Chinese Dota games, if you want to respect ban, but to ban both, that's some serious, bowing to 430. Okay, you're really good on these heroes. We're just going to take them away.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him dominate on both these heroes at Major All-Stars, the event that's fresh in all of our minds, and I'm not surprised that LGD do not want to deal with it. IG, they ban out the Troll as well as the Bat Rider. When they don't have first pick, they tend to take that Troll out of the pool. If not, they look for the possibility to try to first pick it for Burning. If they can't do that, Juggernaut right there, a close second choice. Hero that Burning's also been playing a lot recently. I feel like this IG opener absolutely in their comfort zone. Although the LGD opener, pretty solid as well. The Sniper, no surprise there. The Treant Protector, oh boy, that big leafy tree, he's on the rise, man.
Yeah, and before Phoenix, if IG don't ban it. This Tree Phoenix duo, we saw it from EG, I think once at DAC. Maybe it was more than once, but I feel like there was only one really memorable game where they ran it, and it seems to be all the rage right now. We saw it in the last series several times, and I think before that, some people in chat were saying that eHome had been running it earlier today in one of the D2CL matches, so I'm not sure what it is about these two together. They are a potent teamfight combo. Now, that said, you have to be careful about the Phoenix. Ooh. If you pick it up too early, they can counterpick it with a Silencer or a Skywrath. Well, IG are going to steal LGD's Thunder. You don't get the Tree Phoenix, because we're going to take it away.
Yeah, they'll just grab it for themselves. I'm curious what they'll put on 430 this game. I don't know. What are you thinking here? Game for him, perhaps? The Earthshaker is still in the pool, so IG could look for like a Earthshaker kind of Shadow Fiend these last two.
Yeah, Earthshaker Shadow Fiend would be pretty good. Gives them a nice balance of team fight, late game, physical damage, magical damage. I think that's a pretty well-rounded draft. It's mainly going to come down to if they're worried about what they expect LGD to do. Because LGD could go for something unconventional. They start Tree Sniper. They won't get their Phoenix. So, I mean, this is where maybe they throw a curveball and IG will have to adapt it. Only the third pick for LGD. What do they want to go for? I feel you almost certainly want the Silencer here or the Skywrath. You could wait on it and save it for the fourth pick, but then perhaps IG takes one of those away. And you get your less than ideal choice. But yeah, I would be surprised if neither of those supports come off the board for LGD.
Yeah, I would agree. This is the point in the draft where we'll see how they want to take this. They could try to transition into something with a little more push, something with a little more late game security, or more like that mid game fighting where they can kind of tango with with IG. Burning's Juggernaut is so scary because he's so versatile on this hero. We saw one game in particular at Major All-Stars where he's had the worst start imaginable. Boots first, doesn't find any kills, 4 last hits in the first 6 minutes of the game, and they just play this 4 protect 1. Let's give Burning some space. We'll smoke, find some fights somewhere else, and of course he recovers and they end up winning the game. So he can play that hard farming style or that more combative early on. But here's a fun pick, LD, the Wisp, third choice for LGD.
Oh, right. They're not worried about the Phoenix, I guess. They're just going to go straight to the Wisp. Most teams want to counterpick it, at least to some extent. But with this LGD, they do not really have good heroes to zone out a Phoenix in the laning stage. Maybe they lane the sniper against it with like the tree by his side. That could be decent. I feel they are possibly just going to run the sniper safely. Maybe we almost always see a mid. But if you run like I don't know, Wisp +1 versus Phoenix, the Phoenix is going to get a lot out of that lane. So maybe we see LGD change it up. Generally, the sniper does go mid, but it wouldn't shock me if this is the game where that changes.
Yeah, I'm more curious what LGD have in mind to pair with this Wisp. The Wisp Bristleback has been that duo that is particularly scary. I know Winter's all about that in the off lane if it ever gets picked up. They may just go for the classic Tiny.
Bristle is banned, so I guess I was actually like, oh, that sounds really good, but then I just noticed he is banned. So
yeah. So here IG pick up the Lich, though, another hero that we saw them play at least once or twice at Major All-Stars. Something else in their comfort zone.
So they still need their 430 hero. Classic 430 heroes, let's see. There's Tinker, there's Shadow Fiend that you mentioned. Shadow Fiend probably the most obvious choice. He hasn't really played much else. It's been Storm, it's been Shadow Fiend, it's been Queen of Pain. It's been those three. I think there was a single Troll game in there. Troll is banned, at least in their last 10. So
Let's see.
If they want to do something different, maybe they bust out like a Tinker. What else could they do?
He's played Viper once in the recent games. It really is a lot of Storm, Shadow Fiend, and, well, it's like Troll once or twice. He played a Bristleback game. Could be an Ember Spirit. He does pull that out every so often.
Yeah, Ember could be good here. He's a little bit... Against Tiny Wisp, he does okay with the Flame Guard, but especially if they're having a decent start, they can burst him down through the Flame Guard early on. But later on in the game, he's one of the more resilient carries against that combo. Once you get the Remnant, they try to relocate Genki, you just Remnant away. You've got the Flame Guard to tank some of their nuke damage. So it could be a decent Ember game. It's also good versus Living Armor. The only issue if they want to go that route is then they really lack push. Right now they have very little ability to kill off towers, so that's where LGD lean towards the Shadow Fiend ban.
Okay, and Tidehunter banned out by IG. I think that IG final ban makes some sense here. LGD are lacking on that big piece of team fight cohesion that the Ravage gives you. Right now they've got good pick-off with your relocate, but sort of lacking on the lockdown. Aside from Avalanche and Overgrowth, you don't really have a hell of a lot here. So I do feel like LGD needs something that has some kind of stun, some sort of initiation for this final pick. But surprise, surprise, there's your Ferrari Ember Spirit.
Yeah, good call. All right, 5th pick for LGD. They need their off-laner. There's not a whole lot left. Bat, Axe, Clockwork, and Tidehunter all removed from the pool. My goodness, that is...
Wow.
That is a very limited off-laner. I mean, who's even left at this point? There's not much. There's Beastmaster, Puck,
Beastmaster,
maybe.
that could work.
Yeah, I don't know. Void we saw the other day. I don't think it's a great Void game. With the Tiny Wisp tree, these three don't go particularly well with that. Puck, okay.
The Puck, okay.
Yeah, so Puck was one of the very few ranged offlaners in the pool. He was remaining. Still, he's up against Lion, and Lion is one of the better supports to just shut a Puck down very early in the laning stage.
Yeah, exactly right. And with Lion Lich, they should really have no trouble zoning out this Puck. I don't know if this will be dual lanes from IG. I think more likely to be that 1-1-3, really secure a lot of space for burning. And that's one of the issues with Puck is it's an off laner that's pretty easy to zone out and doesn't really have a great recovery mechanism. Sure, he can spam some AoE magic, throw that fairy dust around, kill some neutrals, but not the same as like a Tidehunter or a Bristleback who can always retreat into the Ancients. And as we've seen before, offlane Puck that gets completely shut down in the first 5 to 10 minutes can really be that liability when, in the ideal world, you want a fast Blink Dagger so Puck can kind of control that mid-game a little more.
Yeah, and Yao has struggled a little bit historically, or not historically, as of late in the laning stage. We saw him really struggle when he had to go mid for LGD back before their most recent roster change. So I'm very curious to see how this game is going to go. He'll be in the off lane. I think Chuan's going to have his eyes on Yao. He'll be the main hero he's looking to shut down. Unlikely he goes to gank mid very much, but just constantly going to be wrapping around looking for that Hex initiation. If he ever uses the orb to farm, that's when Chuan will be looking to pounce. And with double boots on both heroes bottom, they do look for a lot of aggression. This could really catch Yao off guard, and it would not surprise me at all if IG get a first blood with this.
Now, we saw Burning play Jug a fair bit at Major All-Stars, and they did not go for this strategy very often. This is we're very confident, let's see if we can get some early momentum for Burning and also shut them down at the same time kind of a build. Obvious potential to backfire with your boots first on the Jug, but I think IG at least showing their confidence here with their initial item pickups.
Well, yeah, they know it's an off-lane poke. Now, that said, there is living armor, but you've also got some good ways to deal with it. The Blade Fury, the Ember Spirit, the Fire Spirits, the 3 heroes who can quickly remove that living armor. So it's not really the get-out-of-jail-free card it sometimes can be, at least not for this safe lane. So, well, with that said, Andrew, let's go ahead and introduce the teams. I'll do IG real quickly. Your champions of Major All-Stars looking like King Tuna in China, at least for now. You've got 430 on the Ember, Faith on the Lich, Burning going to be, once again, on the Juggernaut, and Chuan will play the Lion. Luo, as your offlane Phoenix, a heavy dose of regen going his way.
Yeah, dirty Jug pickers here on the Radiant side. Dire, we've got LGD. Yao will take the off lane on the Fairy Dragon Puck. Maybe he'll be on the Sniper mid lane. That'll put Xiao Wei, the Director here on the Tramp Protector. Safe lane, it'll be MMY on the Wisp, and he'll be supporting Sylar here on the Position 1 Tiny. You know, all I can think of right now is the conversation we had at Major All-Stars to change the finals from best of 5 to best of 3. And when they asked the teams what they thought, IG basically shrugged and said, we don't care, we're going to win anyway. And that's that kind of confidence I can only imagine that they have coming into this
Did they actually say that, or they just had that kind of a shrug where you interpreted it that way?
You know, Empire was kind of like, well, we'd prefer a best of 5, it's good practice, this and that. Oh, hold that thought down bottom, Chuan. He'll take a Leech Seed, gets punched by the tree, but okay, he'll be okay. Ferrari and Chuan were kind of more like they shrugged and said, we don't really care. Whatever. Best of 3, best of 5. We don't really care is like a direct quote. So there was a nonchalant amount of just confidence there going into the finals. It was pretty impressive.
I like this laning adjustment. That's interesting. I do like this laning adjustment from LGD, and I think it catches IG off guard. They saw the tree. I think, if anything, they were expecting a Sniper tree up top and the Tiny Wisp mid, just because of how effective the Tiny Wisp can be with the early bottle. Now, maybe the Lich pick changed that, and so perhaps that changed what IG were expecting, but I don't think you go double boots if you're looking for the tree puck bottom, because now they're really lacking on regen. Burning's only got 3 tangos left, no stout shield, and already Chuan completely out of regen. So just a casual jaunt down bottom for Xiao Wei. You pointed out that early little skirmish. All your regen's gone right off the bat. And now the lane should get easier for Yao. He's secured his boots, and with this, much less vulnerable to the early first blood attempt.
Yeah, Xiao Wei will rotate to the 2-minute rune here at the bottom position, and that'll give Chuan some space to put some pressure on Yao. He grabs that bounty rune, great for the tree, and it'll be a double damage that spawns at the top position, which will be at least scouted out by Faith on the Lich. Looks like they will leave Faith mid for a while. Now with the double damage, he can put a little pressure onto maybe. I guess not the easiest matchup for the Ember Spirit, so keeping the Lich nearby does at least give Ferrari a little more lane control and limits how much raw farm that Sniper can find.
Yeah, with the Ember pick, definitely not a lane that an Ember...
Although, look at the CS. Maybe he's 1-0 right now. He's getting completely shut out.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
It's the power of the Lich, it's the power of the dual lane. To some extent, Sniper can recover from this. If he gets his level 6, they can maybe start finding kills with the Shrapnel Assassinate and, roam in from the tree, but...
I like how you say if he gets 6. Not when, but if
yeah.
he gets...
Well, with the Lich Denies, it's going to take longer, and there's some potential for... Your Ember Lich is going to be about the same level as the Sniper, as long as they continue to dual lane, so... especially if they're getting the runes, which it looks like they have been. So it's possible that they get 6 around the same time as him, and they just start fragging him like crazy. That's where you want a TP on your tree, maybe a relocate ready to go early on. For now, MMY hits level 3. LGD are getting their levels at a reasonable clip here. But
look at this build from MMY. He skips going bottle first item and actually rushes a Soul Ring here. That's a little bit different.
Side lane Wisp, but if you see him go mid, he's going to get the bottle. But Up against the Phoenix offlane, he also really can't leave the lane too much. If you just leave the tiny 1v1, Phoenix is going to dominate him, so it's a bit of an adjustment. It's an item we used to see more on Wisp, not so much lately since the double rune spawns came in. Uh-oh, Yao gonna get scouted out here by Chuan. But no real skirmish. But yeah, I think ever since the introduction of 2 runes, one at each side of the map, the Soul Ring somewhat fell by the wayside, and this is one of those rare situations where it's a go-to Wisp pickup.
This mid lane still disastrous for LGD. Maybe right now 3-0. Meanwhile, this Ember Spirit having free run of the lane. 430 is 16-12. Not just about the last hits, but also the denies.
I mean, this is a bad lane for Sniper, but this is just getting ridiculous. They'll go on Yao bottom, though. He tries to orb out. The Impale's going to catch him. He does manage to jaunt just at the last second. Forces up the Blade Fury from Burning.
Yep, Puck's still doing pretty well in this offlane, all things considered, though. Only 1 CS behind that of Burning, so even though he's getting zoned out a little bit more now, he is level 4, and the hardest part is kind of over. Xiaowei comes in, throws out a Leech Seed, and will get poked back. Chuan will keep his Clarity Potion on, and well, this bottom lane, kind of a tug of war, but a break even for the most part. Back to the top lane, Phoenix with 7 CS himself. Tiny, our last hit leader. Sidelar having plenty of space here. Luo also having an okay time halfway through level 4. The Phoenix is really just looking for his level 6, and at this rate, he'll have it in a very timely manner.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of levels out of this lane. At the same time, though, Silar is getting literal free farm. 27 CS, no contest whatsoever. This is a great start for him, and barely missing a creep. Still no kills coming out, but look for some potential action soon. 430 with the Lich denies and maybe just being forced back. He's going to hit level 6 first, and as soon as he does, he may just jump in mid, look for that first blood. Again, the pressure onto Yao bottom lane, but Chuan unable to connect with any of his disables.
Here we go. Ferrari finds level 6, skills up the Remnant. Is this the play?
I think he waits for the level, or for the 6-minute rune, and he probably wants maybe to have to leave his tower a little more.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's ready to
just
dive.
try to catch him off guard and see what kind of damage he could do, but yeah, there is not a TP on the tree right now, but Xiaowei's been off the map for a little while, so perhaps not quite privy to the positioning of the tree, who does rotate in due time. They see that Ember Spirit hit 6, and see him move all the way through the lane. It will be an illusion for Ferrari, one of the worst runes for this stage of the game for him, hoping for a double damage or a haste or something that will give him a free kill, but at least he fills up his bottle.
Yeah, unless he can bait out some big spells, but there's really nothing of note to bait out, so it's not the ideal rune, but he does refill it, like you said, and we're not going to see a smoke here from IG. They've given up to some extent on the offlane and of LGD, and interestingly enough, it's right when the Puck has also left the lane, so they go roaming, they go ganking. Kind of, it'll be interesting to see who gets the jump here, but it seems they're heading on to Silar top. They get decent damage on him from the Fire Spirits. Oh, their supports were spotted, though. This smoke took so long. They came all the way from, like, right over here bottom that it wore off before they could even get in range.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate for IG, but it's sort of an interesting laning phase, how the mid is totally dominant in favor of IG, but then you look at the carries, and Tiny is still the last hit leader by a fair bit. Burning is starting to close the gap, though. Now that it's just him versus Puck, he does have a bit of an edge, and the supports will linger around in the top lane. Chuan tucked into this little cranny here between the trees, and Faith level 4 just showing himself in lane. They will go in. Earth Spike off the mark, and Sidelar should be okay as the Icarus dive goes through. So this gank won't yield anything in favor of IG.
A lot of wasted time here by IG. They have the Lich, who can still get himself some experience just from denying creeps around the map, but this is giving Burning a tougher time bottom. Both teams running the ranged offlaner, and with melee carries on both sides in the safe lane, that's where you really need your supports to keep them zoned out. They do have Omni Slash now, but just mana for the Omni, nothing else. So if they can get this Hex Impale, it may be the first blood bottom. Here we go. Hex to start. He's going to Mana Drain, follow up Impale. Where's that Omni? Gets it.
Nicely done. You saw Burning thinking, oh, those creeps are nearby. This could go the way of RNG, and doubles back, goes for it. Easy first blood for the Jug, and now the recovery is real. Now neck and neck with the Tiny in terms of net worth, and Burning continues to find some farm. Puck also gets shut down a little bit more. Just phase boots for now, and we'll be able to TP back to the lane. So that'll level things out and get IG a little bit closer to a potential lead.
I gotta say, the Lich pick has really done a nice job of shutting down the Sniper. Like, it's one thing when the Lich is in the lane, and then at that point, he was getting absolutely no farm, but you know, he's so afraid of getting dove by 430 that he just retreats to the jungle for now. 430, Level 7. He's gone for extra points in the series chains here. Not so much in the Flame Guard as of yet, but at the rate he's going, I'll have them both maxed in short order. And yeah, it's forcing the sniper to just play more defensively. He can't really count on the living armor, and they don't have that great defensive support like an Earthshaker to make something happen. Top lane, though, here we go.
Sylar gets the tower. Ferrari TP's in. Sylar will try to TP home. They won't have the damage to bring him down, and Tiny will make it out. Ends up being just a free tower for LGD. Right now, Tiny, he's their saving grace. Now the net worth leader. He's going straight for the Aghanim Scepter, even opting to skip the drums. Just power treads right into Point Booster with a Quelling Blade, so he'll try to get to that farming tool.
That wasn't even close to getting a kill. And unfortunately for 430, he did not leave a Remnant mid, so the lane was pushing a little bit, but he is going to miss out on some golden experience. Give the sniper a little free time for himself, and despite the great start he's had, he's still sitting 0-0-0, which for a 430 Ember is a very slow start. This guy is infamous for, you know, at this point in the game, racking up 3 to 5 kills, almost like clockwork, but not the case this time around.
Yeah, still farming quite nicely with 41 CS, Phase Boots, Bracer, the beginnings of probably his drum, so at least he is getting good farm. And still a very quiet early game. We'll see maybe initiation on Chuan down bottom. Dream Coil comes out. There's your orb forward. Waning Rift sets up an easy kill on the Lion. Xiao 8 was lingering nearby. Seemed like IG were a bit suspicious. They did ping him out when he was walking by. I think he accidentally path blocked someone, but still they set up the kill. And now Yao finds a little bit of recovery. They may go on to Faith as well. Relocate down. All of a sudden it's a 4-on-1. And yeah, Lich is going to be going down. Now Ferrari comes in, brings down the Wisp. Sylar going to be left behind here, burning with an Omni Slash. Sylar goes down. Now the rest of LGD on the run, maybe isolated by burning. He'll get chased down by the Mask of Madness, and this relocate gank, a disaster as IG take down the 2 big cores and burning the one that makes out big.
I think LGD just got a little excited there. They saw the Lich, and they said, he's not level 6 yet. This is the time to gank a Lich before he has Shade Frost, but they just couldn't get out in time. The Wisp ends up getting assassinated, and Tiny's trapped there, and Sniper ends up coming in a little bit late trying to support the team. It was one of those kind of domino effect fights, you know, where it looks like, okay, it might be a 1-for-1, and then everything that could go wrong to get extra IG heroes, or LGD heroes killed did, and when the dust settles, it turns the game. It was a slight LGD lead, but now it's a massive IG one. When it comes to gold, it's still fairly close, but that experience that IG had an edge on, it's now doubled all the way up to a 4,000 experience lead.
Yeah, and even though the gold lead isn't that huge now, it's still a big jump. That's like almost 1,000, maybe 1,500 net worth trade or so.
And it's with a level 5 Lich at 11.5 minutes. That is an extremely underleveled support Lich. And they're still up by that much experience.
Yeah, it just shows how much these cores have gotten done. Now the 2 supports for IG are smoked up on the high ground mid, stalking out maybe. They're just going to go in by themselves. Chuan's level 6. They want to give him the finger. Living Armor's there. It'll keep maybe alive. Now the relocate. Chuan, he'll get left behind. And the Wisp balls will be enough to bring him down. The tower actually getting credit for that one. Faith wants the TP out. Avalanche to interrupt it. And this quick pick on the sniper turns into a 2 for the other way as LGD finds some recovery.
All right, and right back to top lane for Sylar. He'll keep on farming. Chucks onto Luo, and ultimately, even though the Tiny dies, he's still your net worth leader. Already, as you mentioned, he does skip the drums. He goes straight for the Ags, and he's less than 1 component away. This is going to be probably a 14-15 minute Ags if they don't shut him down, and they know relocates on cooldown. IG saw it used in the jungle, so now they want to make their go on Sylar, and they're going to dive in. They have the egg. Can they get the job done? They're using everything.
Yeah, this should be more than enough for the kill. Relocate on cooldown, but the movement speed is there. Supernova won't stun the Tiny, but it'll stun the Wisp. Sylar still falls. Ember Spirit gets the kill. He makes it a double as the Wisp goes down to boot. Yao TP's in, has his full rotation available. They won't dive it. And what a topsy-turvy game so far, LD. Just as LGD gets more momentum, they throw it away again, and the Tiny gets sent back to the grave.
Xiao 8, he's on a little personal scout or a warding mission here. He's solo smoked. He's going to walk up into the Radiant jungle. Now, he knows there were just 3 IG heroes there, so it's a good time to try and get some wards down. Nice movement by him. It seems like he may plop one down in the bottom lane even as well. Let's see. He's going to wrap around on Burning. But with Blade Fury and Omni Slash and a TP, they need more backup to get the kill. They kill up the Healing Ward, Overgrowth, going through the Blade Fury. They've also got the Chuck available to help secure this kill, and they will bring down Burning. Nicely done. Both teams pretty even on their trades here. Every time we see one team get a kill, it's right back the other way. Now this time, Tony, I said 14-minute Ags. He's already got it. He picks it up at the well. 13.5-minute Ags with the 2 deaths. What a start for Sylar.
Yeah, great news for him. He's gotten these kills at very opportune times, been able to spend his gold pretty effectively, or his unreliable gold, I guess I should say. We'll see IG smoked up on the high ground here, right next to a sentry ward. And their smoke will expire. Looks like they won't find any kills out of it. But now Sylar can just begin the farm. And well, that's a little tiny for such a big tree he's got there. We'll see what kind of farming he can do. But ahead of Ferrari, the net worth leader on IG by a nice bump, even though he has picked up his Drum of Endurance. I think IG are going to have to respect that relocate a little bit more than they have been in the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a pro Tiny not level up Grow before he gets the eggs. It's so cute though. I don't know if you've ever seen it where he's just
never in a live game. Only in pictures. Only in dreams.
Only in Cyborg Matt's old patch analysis. May they rest in peace. But now he ain't so cute. He's one-handing this club and he's ready to start smacking some fools down. So looking towards the mid game, as far as the overall game plans for both teams, LGD. They only really have one hero to set up ganks, and that's Yao as the puck. Otherwise, they kind of have to counter gank here. Whereas you look at IG, they've got the Lion who's decent for it. Once he gets a blink, he'll become excellent at it. The Ember for 430 will be their big setup here around the map, and they find Yao bottom. He orbs in, but it's right into the waiting impale of Chuan off the bat. He's down. Now the relocate. There's your counter gank. Make it a 2-for-1, but now the egg coming in. Can they bring him back to safety? Tether, and the relocate back. They'll make it out. Well, that's how LGD want to fight, ultimately, is they want to counter gank until they get their puck blink. Once the puck blinks out, they may be able to go on the offensive.
Yeah, they still lose the puck, but still a good trade there. Ferrari, though, invisibility rune online, finds Sylar in the jungle, brings him down. A little bit of HP to spare, but Sniper might be able to turn this around and make it even. You'll have an Assassinate flying through. It's a dead Ember Spirit. That's a mega kill streak ended, going the way of maybe. And now he will certainly find some recovery, 8-8, but LGD getting some nice momentum off these kills and really using this relocate quite well. You don't really think of Wisp as a counter to the Supernova, but it seems like every time Luo's in a good ulti, there's just a tether away, and Tiny's able to get out of harm's way.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job of anticipating and reacting to IG's movements, and what a streak to end for maybe. This poor Sniper, who's just had a terrible game. 55 CS. It's been a decent comeback. It is close to the Ember, but you have to consider 430's been ganking and getting all the runes. He's 5-1, so a big kill. All of a sudden, Yasha out. He's got the Mask of Death, or the Morbid Mask, rather, if he wants to pick it up. And I don't know if he wants to go that Glass Cannon. Maybe he even considers something, an adjustment here, an early Manta to get out of chains, or even go straight into your Sanjin Yasha or potentially BKB, but the standard build would just be your straight Mask of Madness for maybe. We'll see what the choice is.
Yeah, I definitely agree, though. This may be a game where we're switching it up. Could be well advised. Now, the Phoenix finding a pretty good timing on this Hand of Midas here. He did stop off for the Urn of Shadows, a pretty standard opener on the bird, but we'll be looking towards that level 16. Ancients getting stacked up on the Radiant side. Looks like a nice triple stack here for them. They'll clear out for their carries. And the Dire side, they've got a nice stack themselves. Looks like a triple stack. So both teams with the same idea here, working the map pretty effectively, burning with this standard build for farming and fighting. Phase Boots, Yasha, and Mask of Madness. Also now level 11, that Omni Slash, ready to find some kills. And it looks like Sylar may be that rock with a target on his back, though good game sense as he TPs out just in the nick of time. Nicely
done. They were trying to find the Wisp there. You see the Tiny pushing. You want to go get the Wisp behind him, and then the Tiny often will be trapped, tries to TP out. You cancel it, and then you get 2 kills instead of maybe none or just the Wisp on a relocate out. So LGD, one step ahead of IG, and you know, the one issue for IG is they don't push particularly fast. The one hero who can kind of bring towers down is the Juggernaut. It's a little risky to overcommit, though, with your Mask of Madness. Oh, mid lane. Just caught the tail end of that. Chuan goes in, gets the quick pick, but he may be turned on. Here comes the coil.
Yeah, he throws out the coil, but the rest of the team says, yeah, a little bold there, Yao. I don't think we want to follow up and dive the tower quite like that. So they'll let Chuan live, and just ends up being a 1-for-0 with a sniper in the grave. So good pick off there for IG, and making good use of that finger. Ferrari closing in on a Battle Fury, has enough for the 2 swords and about halfway to the Perseverance, so his farm's still continuing to be pretty scary. Not quite on point with the Tiny, who has the Hyperstone, and looks like Sylar will just go for a fast Assault Cross here. There will be a relocate up towards the top lane. Burning, he Omni Slashes, brings down the Wisp, and now Sylar all by his lonesome. Is there a TP coming in? No, the Egg will deter any kind of defensive TP to save Sylar. Now Ferrari joins the party, Searing Chains, a laser from the Bird, and Faith finds the kill with a simple Frost Nova. Not done yet, though. Maybe scattered out in the jungle. Chuan finds him with a Hex. Ferrari leaps around the map, comes back in, and now he's isolated. He may be under a tier 2 tower, but it's a 3-on-1. And the Sniper gets taken out once more, and just like that, a 3-for-0. IG pull back into the lead.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan was with that relocate. Generally, if you want to defend the tower, you TP in someone else who could start the fight first. Puck would have been a decent choice, although Dream Coil is on cooldown. Or I think even the Tree, who's got the Overgrowth to set up the fight. You don't normally start defending your tower when, at this stage of the game, in terms of farm, it's not like they're way ahead on the Tiny Wisp versus these IG cores. You don't normally start with the relocate, because that just gets you killed. And in that case, they didn't even get good Chain Frost browsers. Just go in with the instant Juggernaut ultimate, kill off the Wisp, Chain Frost to secure the kill, and then they run down the Tiny. Tree canceled his own TP. There was nobody on the Dire side near Xiao 8. I guess he decided if he went in, he would have died, and then they also lose the Tiny, which may well have been the case, but
yeah.
The
I think
end
he was
result,
worried about that Supernova. That was the big thing there. It's like you TP in, well, maybe you'll make it, but you're going to get stunned pretty much no matter what. So
end result is a total train wreck for LGD, though. They give up their cores, or their core Tiny, they give up the tower, and they don't really get much in return. I think they took down the tower bottom, and I guess it gets Puck the Blink, but not worth trading your Tiny Wisps live for them.
Yeah, I mean, the goal graph now is in favor of IG by the biggest lead we've seen this game, nearly about 4K net worth, but it's really the experience that's still out of control. Nearly 10K in the lead for IG. If you put on that hero level chart, you see the pretty obvious advantage there. They've got a level 14 Ember Spirit, level 13 Jug, and then that Puck, one of the lowest levels in the game, only 9, tied with the Lich and the Treant. Sure, Yao has a Blink Dagger, but Puck's one of these heroes that really benefits from that early experience, and a level 1 phase shift really limits how aggressive he can be in terms of initiating and blinking forward.
Yeah, generally you don't level up against Ember because if you're changed, you can't actually use the phase shift. So it's normally one of your last spells to level, and he's up against the Lion as well, who's got a very reliable instant jump, but still, that said, in the prolonged fights, it will hurt him. So he'll want to continue getting his levels. For now, the Max Silence, their best tool for dealing with this Ember, though. I haven't really felt much pressure on 430, Andrew. The one time he died was when he was diving the Tiny on his own in the enemy woods, used all his remnants to kill him, and then had nothing
Rather
to get
ambitious.
out.
Yeah.
Other than that, they haven't tried to gank him at all.
Yeah, he's had a lot of space, and same goes for Burning. IG really love this really 4+1 style where you'll see their supports get very active with 430 and just let Burning farm and come to fights only when he can kind of take out the trash or just come in for the cleanup. And now he's got a full Manta style, another 2,000 gold to spare. This Juggernaut's farm is really looking strong. And the scariest part is he didn't even really go for farming tools. He just went for this great, well-rounded build that sure are good for farming, but no Hand of Midas or Battle Fury or anything like that. And it's one of many reasons that this Juggernaut is such a difficult hero to deal with. He's really just strong in every stage of the game, it feels like.
Hey man, don't be flaming Xiao 8 and maybe like that. They're not trash. Jeez. No, it's true though. It is the way they like to run, and it's kind of it's the cool thing about the pickup of Burning is it allows 430 to play whatever style he wants. If he feels like he needs to play more of a farming role, he can. If he wants to be active and fight a lot, he can. And no matter what, there's always a bit of an insurance policy. Whereas before, you'd have those games where Luo just hopped aboard the feed train, didn't get much done. Oh, Burning. Ooh, he wants to steal these Ancients. This is a nice fat stack for the Tiny, but it's a dangerous position. Right, you could get caught by the Blink Coil Overgrowth with Tiny over the top and very quickly get team wiped. So they're not going to play.
But they do have a ward in the Gosu spot here on the high ground, so they have full vision of the Ancients, and they'll know if LGD move into this area. I don't see any sentry wards down right now. They've got a gem, though, on Xiao 8, so sentry's not going to be needed.
They're coming.
They take out this ward, and there we go. But they still get the intel they need to try and come in and jack the Ancients. Still a couple of big Drakes here. MMY, the target that gets stunned up first and brought down as Chuan finds another kill. Just like that, it's a 4-on-5. and half this ancient stack will go the way of Invictus Gate.
And they get the kill on the Wisp again, who is quickly becoming a liability. Boots, Bottle, Soul Ring, Urn, just very squishy. And they have a good assassin lineup. They've got heavy burst damage, but here comes the Roche fight. Swinging around from the rear is Xiao8. He is the gem carrier, so should he go down here, which this angle puts him in a lot of harm's way, then they lose a gem as well as a Roche. Do they want to contest?
This is tricky for LGD. IG are pretty blind right here, but still feeling confident with the Wisp in the grave. Off to the side, we'll see initiation onto Chuan. We'll call it space created as Roshan goes down. Aegis the Immortal goes to Ember Spirit, and Chuan almost lives. Puck brings him down with one stray auto attack. Worth it for now. Let's see if they can find a recovery kill. Puck jaunts over the tree line, gets hit by a slight. Does 430 have any way to close the gap here? Doesn't look like it, and I think Puck will live.
Yeah,
or
selfless
Laser.
Oh.
No, he's gone.
No, he's already TP'd up. Selfless play there by Chuan. Sacrifices his own life, but ensures that there's no Puck jumping into the pit shenanigans. And
I think worth it.
Yeah, well worth it. And Chuan has been doing this a lot lately. These very selfless, sacrificial plays on support. It seems like he's playing with a lot of trust in his team, whereas, I mean, I compare this to Chuan at, I think it was TI 3 or TI 4? One of the past two TIs where he was playing Triad Protector, and his team was losing, and he just bought a Midas on Tree, didn't come to fights, and was AFK farming. That is... It's not like Chuan always does this. He definitely will only do it if he believes in his team, but I think this team giving him every reason for him to be willing to make those sacrificial plays, to play like a true teammate, and it pays off, secures them the Aegis, and with that, 430 has a lot of room to play more aggro now. He's got his completed Crystallis online, and again, Andrew, I really worry for this Wisp. One crit MMY is almost dead, let alone if the Omni Slash comes through, the Finger of Death, and Tiny is just not scary without the Wisp. You've got Frost Armor, Hex, Impale, Chains, a billion and one ways to lock him down, it feels.
Yeah, Tiny's still farming very nicely, topping that net worth chart. Does have his Assault Kuros completed, another 2,800 gold to spare, but it just feels like IG have done such a good job dealing with him, as you mentioned, focusing the Wisp, and after that, Tiny becomes a lot less scary. It feels like one of those kind of games where you have all your eggs in one basket, but you look at the Sniper's net worth, the Puck, everyone else is just so squishy and easy to get brought down, and a straight 5v5, sure, Tiny's scary, but if you kill all of his friends and you can do that 4v1, there's only so much the Mountain Giant can do. And in the mid lane...
I feel like we saw this every game that you guys were casting at Major All-Stars. I got to watch most of them. Was all of a sudden, Burning has 5,000 gold.
Yes.
You know, the team's fighting, the team's creating space. He gets his kills here or there, but this man is just loving it on IG. He gets to smack creeps a lot, and his inventory is very happy about that.
He does what Burning does best. He just farms, and here we're seeing it come out well. Xiao8 in the wrong place at the wrong time. Gets caught a bit too far forward in the mid lane. Thought he was safe under the guise of invisibility, but Luo's got a gem. Well, I think that was the stolen gem.
Yes.
How did they see him there, actually?
They lost it in the last fight.
The sentry.
Oh, yeah, they have a sentry, but yeah, they stole the gem in the last fight, so... Well, just more and more problems compounding here for LGD. Now, they can always resort to split push, and IG are starting to push more quickly with the Jug, Ember, getting some damage items, but... Still, I don't think they're at the point where they really want to base race a Tiny, so perhaps this will be the comeback plan for LGD. Split push, rat as much as possible, get creative with MMY's positioning, and just try and stall, baby. Stall. You need more time.
Yeah. They do force out a glyph on that tier 2 tower push, though, so maybe they can find an opportunity to have a play at high ground in that next window. Tiny, though, gets his BKB, so after pushing that top lane, he will have his next big item completed, and a good pickup here. It
is a good pickup, but it's just never the ideal item with Tiny Wisp. Oh, 430. We'll catch out Sylar here. Looks like he doesn't want to Remnant out just yet. He's taking a little illusion damage from the sniper.
I mean, there's
a couple of issues with it. One is that it's not really the best scaling item late game. Second, and most importantly, I think, is you can't tether to the BKB target, and when you're running Tiny Wisp, it is all about the combo. But this from Sylar may just be a decision of, my Wisp is probably not going to actually fight with me, and there is a lot of nuke damage and a lot of disable. It's not the ideal Tiny item, but it's just one of those games where you just gotta grin and bear it and hope for the best.
Yeah, I definitely agreed here. I'll see an interesting pickup on Luo. He'll go for... He picks up the Yule Scepter after just a casual vitality booster. I was thinking that could have been like a Rod of Atos, perhaps, an item you see pop out on Phoenix from time to time. Pretty good with the Cripple, paired with your Supernova, but just wants some extra HP, and now moves into another great utility item. Yule's Scepter, never a bad choice, but another one that you don't really see on Phoenix that often. Items more like Shiva's Guard tend to be just a lot more popular.
Yeah, he's versus the Puck, so that Puck silence can really mess him up in the team fights.
Yeah,
Gets the Vit booster just to live through the tiny wisp burst damage, and then goes back for the Yule, so he's got an answer for the Puck. So at this point, he really should be able to get off the egg almost every fight, unless he's horribly out of position. And
Yeah. Almost 16 as well. That'll make his life easier.
I think at this point, the way the game's developing, the big comeback item for LGD, as they're now down 7,500 gold, 14,000 experience, and a lot of momentum, is going to be a Hex on the Puck. They have to find a way to farm this for Yao, because there's just nobody else who can set up ganks for them. And in a true 5v5, barring an incredible overgrowth, I just don't see them taking those fights. It looks like Xiao bought another gem, by the way. The Lich still holding on. Or did they recover their own gem? Maybe IG bought their own.
I think it looks like Lich bought this one, so
I guess
think
Xiao must have put his back on the courier, or they got theirs back at some point. I'm not really sure. That was a pretty chaotic Roche fight, but
yeah,
they each have their own gem now at any rate.
Yeah, that's what's important. So IG now, they smoke up, they'll rotate through the mid lane. Oh, Tiny all by himself. MMY's nearby, but trying to stay far back, will relocate out his friend. Okay.
Are they gonna evacuate the Wisp?
That's
Time
the
to saving
question
Private
here.
MMY, here we go. IG gonna let it go, because they committed a lot to this. The Finger, the Chain Frost. This is a decent window for LGD. Maybe they try to get something done here. They have the BKB on Tiny even. They've used nothing. IG have 2 big ultimates on cooldown. If there were ever a time to fight, now's that time.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe IG just want to play it safe and wait out to next Roche before they do anything too aggressive. 430 does get assassinated, but he'll be just fine. Flame Guard, Remnant back to safety. And yeah, that'll be the
I
end
feel
of
like
that
it's a
little
bit of a
skirmish.
misnomer when all it does is remove his Flame Guard. You know?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be this big, scary spell. Assassinate! And then, oh, I lost my Flame Guard. Okay. No problem.
Yeah, full Scotty up on Burning as well. Another 3,200 gold there. Blink Dagger on Chuan, and we'll see where the Ember Spirit wants to go next. You mentioned the Crystalist, another 2,200 gold. Ferrari could just look at going for the full Daedalus, looking for something with a little more survivability. Oh, there it is. Okay, full Daedalus it is, baby. Whew.
Well, he's large and in charge, and you mentioned the Scotty Burning, another 3,500 gold. No problem. He's keeping up with the Tiny, with a Wisp at its side. With no Midas, no Battle Fury, no Maelstrom, just that classic, I guess at this point, Mask of Madness, Manta, Scotty. He's hitting creeps, he's taking towers, and he's not dying is the big thing. The Tiny has 4 deaths, Burning has 1, and it makes all the difference.
Yeah, maybe started off with this slightly tankier build, power treads into the Manta style, but now he goes back for a Maelstrom. So trying to find that balance of survivability and damage output. But with only 1,000 hit points, this sniper is still pretty darn squishy. We'll see Sylar try to TP out. He'll get hexed up. There's a solo Omni Slash Finger, but the relocate out at 100 hit points. Oh my, it doesn't get much closer than that, but MMY barely keeps him alive. Now, does he bring him back, or is it just the Wisp?
They got nobody here. They just gotta sack him.
Yeah, it's a dead Wisp. Poor guy. Saves his Tiny, though, so he does do his job.
IG, I mean, obviously they're familiar with defensive relocate, but they're like, man, this is just too juicy of an opportunity to pass up. The good thing is, like, if you ever see a Tiny like that and you know his team's not there and you just go on him, sure, maybe they defensively relocate him out. But most likely you at least get the Whisk kill on the way back. And you know, at this stage of the game, it's a level 2 Lion ult. It's only 100-second cooldown. Not terrible. The Jug ultimate 110 seconds, so... Yeah. Even they may have even known he'd get relocated out, or it was likely to happen, and just it's okay. We'll at least get a Whisk kill, and it's not like LGD are going to do anything anyway. But again, MMY coming up big in the clutch to keep Sylar healthy and keep him farming. A death there, and all of a sudden Burning's going to be up like 2-3k gold on him.
Yeah, Yao just can't find any momentum this game. Puck still on Phase Boots Blink Bottle. I feel like he's had these exact same items for the past 15 minutes. 2-2-2, not really finding much space to farm. Right now, he's just hiding in the... I'm not really sure exactly what he's doing here.
Man, he's got nothing. I clicked on him. Okay, he's got a Staff of Wizardry. I guess he's going... Maybe he's going Eggs.
Eggs or Yules here. I'm not sure.
I don't really think it's a Yules game, though. There's no silences to remove.
Is it really an Ags game? I mean, there's no BKBs coming out yet.
He may have bought this thinking of a Yules or Ags, and it's possible Yao even just tries to go for the Hex anyway, but
Yeah.
again, I feel like they need a Hex, because that's the only way they find kills around the map at this stage. It's unless they somehow 5-man smoke, but then you're really risking it to walk into IG's disgusting team fight 5v5. And now they've got a lot of ways to deal with what LGD throws at them. They've got a BKB up and burning, tanky supports, Lich with a Vit booster, Luo with the Yules Vit booster that you pointed out earlier, and just not easy heroes to take down.
Yeah. Frankly, I'm a little surprised to see Burning get the BKB here. Just as I say, oh no, BKB is not an Ags game. Burning goes ahead and makes it perhaps a bit more tempting for the puck. So it'll be delivered here as they move into Roche and LGD. They're making the movements here, LD. One smoked up, Xiao Weight's invisible. They'll scout it out with the shrapnel. IG will not stay committed to the Roche pit, respecting the power of the relocate, and will be a bit more careful here. 430, not nearby. He does have a remnant down. And they'll have the Phoenix rotating in.
He blinked in. It was a bit too early, and he's just going to jaunt back. He throws Orb the other way, so a very safe way to scout the Roshan. I like that play from Yao. It doesn't actually get them the Aegis, but meanwhile, Luo has just found his way up onto the high ground. He's trying to set up for a really nice egg, and he's in position for it. Are they actually going for the snatch?
Oh, 430 does hop to the Revenant. IG have all 5 here. There's your relocate coming on in. Roshan goes down, picked up by Burning. It's a dead wisp before you can even blink. Sylar pops the BKB, but it doesn't even make a difference. The Juggernaut Omni slashing around finds the kill. Supernova goes off. No stuns, but they don't need it. LGD on the back foot in big trouble. Maybe takes the finger. The Treant gets lit on fire and turned to ashes. Yao, the lone survivor, but it's a 4-0. Aegis goes the way of the Radiant, and they get the last hit on Roshan. Doesn't get too much better than that if you're an IG fan.
They needed Yao to go in sooner there. He goes in after the Lion, impales the Wisp and the Tiny relocated in. That was not the way to start the fight. If the puck goes in first, they get the Blink Silence out on the Lion, then perhaps they have a chance, but there's a lot of pressure on Yao. He's the only hero that can initiate. He's got to be perfect, and I don't even know if the Chuan Impale made the difference. Ultimately, IG may win that fight anyway, but with that Impale, there's just no chance. Catching Tiny Wisp both out on the relocate, that's instantly the Roche fight lost, unless they snatch the Aegis, and IG just wrecking LGD here in game number 1.
Yeah, now they just go high ground.
This is looking like that 73-27 bet odds were pretty well justified, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this is an easy high ground siege here. LGD starting to come back to life. They have a couple buybacks available. None of them were used. Xiao Wei initiated on, going down pretty quick. Melee barracks fall. Sniper actually gets the kill on Ember Spirit. 430 goes in a little too deep. Perhaps worth it, though, for the melee barracks. Luo tossed up into the air, cleaved down by Tiny. They're not done yet. Coil on 2. Chuan assassinated. Now Faith left behind. They'll get the Chain Frost out to do some damage, but
the Jinx is strong, man. As soon as I'm like, oh man, they're looking really good. 430 was in very deep. He was all the way here trying to zone. Did not have a Remnant up, it looks like. Because if he did, he could have just dropped the Remnant for the buyback. And then maybe they turn the fight. But they do get out with the
6K net worth, LD. Yeah. The rubber band is real.
Yeah, they do get out with the Aegis, though. So Birding has it. They can go for round 2. And they did claim a melee Rex. I mean, I think it could have been a cleaner take. But ultimately, they have Aegis, and they get a melee Rax, and Burning does not die. So, still, it looks decent for IG here, but a little sloppy. A little sloppy.
Yeah, maybe just a little overconfident, trying to get into that game number 2. Still a very sizable lead for IG, though, both in gold and experience. They can honestly afford to do that based on how ahead they were. Burning still with his 10-second BKB charge. Didn't even use it in that fight. And like you said, still with the Aegis, though. Probably not for long. Yao initiates. The silence is there. And, well, the follow-up won't be. Burning just walks away.
Yeah, just trying to force out a BKB charge. I think that is not the hero you want to go on when he's got BKB, Aegis, Manta, and his whole team respawning with a tier 2 to teleport to and try and turn it.
And he doesn't even BKB. He says, all right, I see what you're trying to do, you high school bullies. I'm not falling for it.
Yeah,
he just walks back.
That's the Zen master, man. This guy was playing carry before most Dota players were born, or at least before they ever touched the game in any serious way. So, if anybody's not going to flinch under the pressure, it's probably Burning. 430 will push out the top lane, and he has gone for a Blink Dagger here. An interesting item on Ember, not something we see very often, but I mean, if you think about it, you could just use the blink chains to initiate, and then you can have a remnant to retreat out. So normally your blink would get canceled if you try to use it defensively, but this way he's got a way in and a way out. And
yeah,
it's
I mean, this is
interesting
like
pickup.
Your ultimate space creation tool on the Ember Spirit. And now that the Juggernaut is big enough, you're not really relying on 430 to do the big damage. He can just hop in the front lines, try and zone out the supports, keep that Wisp way in the far back line. You can easily solo him down if the Wisp is too far forward, and that sort of makes LGD have to think twice. Do we overcommit on the Ember Spirit? And that whole time, you've got a Juggernaut who's either claiming objectives or killing your cores. So, like you said, not typical, but I think it's an interesting change of pace here and makes some sense in this particular game.
It's also fun.
Yeah,
you get to be a race car, basically, and just zoom around the map everywhere. So, I'm wondering, what happened to the gem that IG had? Do LGD have 2? Yeah, they do. Okay, so this time they had 1 on the courier. The Lich just bought another. For a second, I thought LGD bought another gem. Like, do you really need 3 guys? But no, it's IG replacing their gem. They want to get their map control back, and I do want to mention the other thing that happened after that big fight near the bottom lane where LGD take 4, is they got a good aggressive ward up here. 1 in the jungle, 1 in mid. These will be... I think they'll be dewarded. Is Fate just playing dumb? Or, okay. Okay, he's gonna hit them. I don't know if he was maybe trying to, like, bait LGD and pretend like he didn't know they had a ward there, but...
Possibly.
In the end, just maybe had his camera elsewhere and will end up killing it off.
Yeah, Phoenix will end up going for that Shiva's Guard. Does pick up the recipe sitting back at home, though still pretty far off. I thought actually he has the Mystic Staff, so a bit closer than I thought. Burning will have a Skull Basher picked up and 2 Javelins. Looks like he wants MKB and an Abyssal. Halfway to both. He's so rich, he's like, well, I don't really need to get one completed
he's gotta
now.
sell he doesn't have the item slots for this.
He can kind of just buy a few pieces. Dude, he's going to get his own courier soon. Just you wait. He's got... very interesting item trajectory from Burning here. More money than he knows what to do with, it seems
I've mentioned this before, Cast, but I still go back to Starladder Season 9, where the one where DK went undefeated, won the whole event, beat everybody en route, and I think ultimately beat Empire of the Grid Finals. They never ran Naga once, but every single game, and they had never run Naga, I don't think, up until that point. This was before the hero sort of made its way to the Eastern scene. It was back when I think Arteezy was the main player really starting to pioneer the Naga mid. Burning every game would warm up by playing like an 8-9 slotted Naga with a courier following him around everywhere. So, I mean, even though he may not be particularly known for those 8 slotted type heroes, he's been practicing this for a long time. So it's not too surprising, but it's just funny to look at, like, he's got more items, and he's gonna take the magic wand of someone else now by accident. He'll fix that. He'll take the Basher. He's selected. It's like he's choosing which weapon to execute LGD with. Basher looks good for now, but maybe later I'll give him the MKB.
I like that. Keep him guessing. It's an interesting way to go about it. And the MKB will be needed at some point, though. Tiny has picked up a Butterfly. Does have it in the inventory. I think that's probably why Burning did.
He's very strong right now. IG do have to be careful. As much as IG are farming well, LGD have a Tiny that will beat pretty much anybody 1v1 with a Butterfly. Without the MKB, even a Jug's going to struggle to bring him down, but...
Plus MKB on the Sniper, and now Yao, he finds his way into the Scythe of Vice. So LGD get this trio of huge item pickups that we haven't seen debuted yet. And off that, they will smoke with 5 heroes. But IG, they seem a little suspicious here. There's a lot of heroes missing off the map. They think, well, maybe there's a smoke rotation coming. Let's just play defensive here. Let's wait it out and see if we can eventually find some eyes on this dire team.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, IG seem to just be one step ahead of LGD, at least for now. And everybody from LGD will retreat. Maybe going to TP back towards his effigy and just run.
Yeah.
Maybe worried about an incoming gank. And they'll reset. But this gives time for IG to leave the base. Burning has ditched the Mask of Madness. Looks like completed MKB for him. So now we've got 3 MKBs on the field of play. And, well, as soon as Sylar picks up that delicious Butterfly, it's almost instantly countered by IG. And on top of the double MKBs, they also have the Hex on Lion. So when this BKB wears off, this evasion will not be doing much for Sylar. Still gets the attack speed. Very good for Tiny, but becomes much more mortal with these item pickups.
Yeah, definitely. Chuan has also been able to pick up the Yule Scepter, and Faith has gone for an interesting build here. Rod of Atos on the Lich. Like I mentioned before, great synergy with the Phoenix, whether he's the carrier or whoever else. Makes it very hard to get away from Supernova on whichever is the unlucky target to be caught by the cripple, but not an item you see on Lich all too often. Usually that Aghanim Scepter is still the go-to just to clear out creep waves and, have that unlimited bouncing Chain Frost. Also just up the damage. The Scepter damage on Chain Frost is pretty ridiculous. But I like the way IG are doing this. Slightly different itemization, but I think these changes in trajectory make a lot of sense in the context of this match.
If the Wisp dies, they have they just continue to pile up the ways to kite the Tiny. The Hex that they already have, the Impale, Frost Armor, Chain Frost, the Lich Slow, now we're out of Atos as well. You've got your Fire Spirits, Bashes coming out, the Chains from the Ember. I mean, seriously, if this Wisp dies and his BKB runs out, and they haven't killed at least 3 or 4 IG heroes, he is just going to be... They're going to be running circles around him. It'll be like Gulliver's Travels with the little midgets just slowly tying the ropes and binding the giant down. But they got to get through the BKB first. And we'll have to see how the first fight progresses. Here comes the Roche Dance. IG trying to set up for it. LGD kind of sitting back now. It'll be a little bit of a delicate back and forth before the real fight breaks out, it seems.
Less than 30 seconds here. Both teams have tried smokes in the minutes prior here to try to secure an edge around the pit before the big boy spawns. And either side will be able to secure an edge like that. And with a gem on both sides, both teams are pretty blind. Dire only have 1 ward down in this awkward kind of spot here. It gives a very little bit of intel into where Luo is. But it's one of those wards that not giving a lot of intel, but it is one unlikely to be de-warded. So that is... one little advantage.
It's like, okay, well, I know they left their jungle. That's what that word pretty much tells you. It's okay. Well, they were in their jungle. They're either going this way or they're going that way. That's all you get.
Yeah.
But it's hard to deward. That's the one.
Both sides will back out. Yeah. Radiant have 1 down on the high ground for now, though it is probably soon to get dewarded once LGD move into that spot of the map. And like you pointed out, the dance continues here. Both sides waiting for the opposition to make that fatal misstep and just poke a little too far forward. Maybe baiting with burning a bit here. This Juggernaut looks tempting, nice and juicy, but rest assured he's got the backup crew nearby.
I feel like the longer this game goes, the more if you're LGD you wish that, or at least for the LGD fans, I don't know if LGD have even seen this, but you wish that you had that Aghanims tree and that you're building towards a refresher because...
Yeah.
And frankly, I expect we're going to start seeing it in China. If they haven't already seen it in the Western scene, it'll probably come soon. He's had to play a hard support role, but as the game moves along, like, imagine just not only the map control, you're building to deny IG farm, and eventually you get that double overgrowth in the team fight where you have a Tiny. He needs heroes to be locked down. He will do the clubbing. And with a double overgrowth, you'd have it, but... Xiaowei, at this rate, if he gets an Ags, it's going to be like 60 minutes, it feels, so...
Yeah,
I guess it's not
longer.
the game.
It's going to be a while. He's got 1,500 gold, and, well, there we go. He invests in the Vladimir's offering, so even further delaying a potential Aghanim Scepter pickup.
I think it's just not happening.
Yeah, but IG, they win the dance around the Roche Pit. They get an uncontested Roshan kill. Aegis of the Immortal does get picked up by the Ember Spirit, and Chuan will walk in to pick up that yummy, yummy cheese here on the line with his 4-staff right around the corner. So IG don't really have to work too hard to get the Roche, and now they've got a pretty nice advantage looking towards the high ground here, holding on to, well, about 12k net worth, somewhere about 22k experience. Not the easiest team to siege the high ground against, though, without some kind of a advantage.
At this stage of the game, that is a pretty negligible lead. One thrown team fight by IG, and it'll be basically an even game, and if LGD start taking towers or racks or Roche on top of that, then it may even just be a straight-up advantage for them. And that's why we see IG very patient, very careful. They don't want to overcommit. They want to push in all the lanes. And they may just wait for LGD to leave their base, and perhaps this just turns out to be a farming Aegis. They are up a single melee racks, but that is by no means the GG button in this game.
I think the luxury of time right now.
I think the one thing LGD really have going for them is that... or that IG have going for them, rather, is that they have the Ember Jug. And yeah, there's a sniper in this game, but he just feels so squishy. I would be surprised if maybe he lives through a fight. And if he does, it's going to be because his team's played insanely well to keep him alive. But you compare him to the Ember, the Jug, these heroes are almost guaranteed to dish out a huge amount of damage in a team fight. And I think that's where IG are content to farm, feeling like they have a carry advantage. They can starve IG a bit. Tiny's running out of item slots, and Wisp is very squishy, and... just continue to farm up their supports and take it late.
Yeah, you think on even footing, like on paper, it's not that LGD has a significantly worse late game lineup, but here IG know that they can just starve them out. They've got this dire team completely locked in their base while they're pushing in lanes, farming the jungles. Now they're just waiting for this opportunity to initiate, and here you go. They find it. They force out a defensive relocate straight away. Ferrari takes some heavy damage here. Tower shots will get him low. He still has the Aegis, will survive for now. Assassinate, not enough to finish him off. The healing ward from Burning, picking him back up. BKB from Sylar used. Omni Slash flies through. Creep wave spawn, that buys Sylar a little bit of time, but now the Chain Frost starts bouncing around. It goes back to Sylar, slows him down, keeps him low, and he will be relegated to the well. No kills come out, but IG do seem to win the war so far.
Full duration healing ward. They never managed to snipe it despite having a sniper. They just couldn't get the job done. Now 430 leaps forward, but maybe turned on here. Yao trying to save the fight. Finger comes in, brings down your puck, and they begin their siege. No buyback on the puck. Sylar trying to hang on for now, but with no BKB, no Wisp by his side, he's just not getting the job done. They're caving in the base in the meanwhile. They'll bring down the tower mid. They're going to work on the racks as well. Burning takes a single swipe, and again, he's hexed. Oh. He's impaled. He's kited for days and nights, and now they use him. They're just going to ignore the Tony. He's not much of a raid boss if you could just delete him from the game, and without a Necrophos, without a Doom, that's effectively what IG are managing to do. Just completely take this Tiny out of the fights. They chain the Wisp again, and they hex Sylar again. Now they jump forward with the Shivas. He just can't hit anything. Now Impale Drain. They're toying with him. He's completely useless, it feels. BKB comes out. He'll start smacking creeps. And that's
this
about it.
This healing ward, oh my god, it's done so much work this fight. Now Sylar, he's hexed up. He's in a lot of trouble. Meanwhile, Ferrari's just diving into the backside. Sniper goes down. He buys back. Now the Tiny's finally dead. MNY, he's already bought back once. He'll survive for now. Avoids the dieback. Tiny will buy back also. They hold the barracks. Burning. Does he go down here? He's hexed up. Silence. Now LGD leave the base. It's been so long. Chain Frost is cooled down. Starts bouncing around the creep wave and is enough to repel Sylar. After all that, IG walk away without conceding a single death outside of the Aegis. Oh, coil on two. Burning breaks it with the Blade Fury. Luo uses the Supernova to get the reset. Yule's up on the Tiny. Earthspike just barely off the mark.
Omni Slash.
Oh, Supernova stun on 4. Now they turn it around. LGD on the back foot. It's going to be a dieback for Sylar. Omni Slash flies through. Now LGD on a last leg. They'll be forced to tap out. Wow, IG just dominate their way to victory in that final fight. You even see the rapier, a victory rapier there at the end, picked up by 430. What a game one for this series, but it will be IG that takes it.
Simply masterful kiting. I mean, that must have been like 40 seconds the Tiny was either running for his life, slowed, stunned, hexed, or just otherwise kept out of the fight. That was so unbelievable. I mean, you run through the list of spells they had to deal with him and items they had to deal with him. It's probably 15 to 20. He couldn't do anything. Such an impressive showing here by IG. They go late against Tiny with Sniper, and they live to tell the tale, and I just think they're looking like they're on another level now. They had the one bad fight bottom, but when they give up, when this team's giving up a lead, it's normally from their own mistakes, not because they're getting outsmarted or outplayed. And if they can just cut down on those, continue to play very disciplined in the sieges, it's going to be an uphill battle for LGD. IG now one win away from a trip to Starlighter.
Couple of hyper-aggressive moments there from IG, but overall, pretty impressive execution and pretty crisp play. We even saw that Blink Dagger on Ferrari come into play huge in that last fight. He forced the Wisp buyback just from blink in, hit him with a chains, hit him with a few auto attacks. It's a dead Wisp, and just like that, you've already forced him to the backside of the fight, and there was just nothing MMY could do that game. I don't even think he played poorly as much as they just had so many tools to lock him down.
They had heavy burst. I do look back at the lanes, and I feel like they gave 430 a lot mid, and part of it was just that Lich pick. If they ran the Tiny Wisp mid, it was not going to be maybe they trade evenly if they can rack up a kill or two, but if they don't get the kills, they can fall behind rather quickly. But it did feel like the Sniper mid ended up being a huge liability because of that dual lane. You got nothing done all game. That's the game 3 and 6, had very little impact, and you just can't. It doesn't seem like you can win against